Hi, I'm Otway Ross. Welcome to another guitar lesson. In this lesson, I'll teach you how to play the D major chord. Here it is. Very useful chord, pretty easy to play. And it's also easy to remember because your fingers are in the shape of a D. So here are the notes: D, A, D, and F sharp. Now it's this F sharp here which defines whether it's major, a happy tone, or minor, a sad tone, or neutral. There we go. Anyway, so this lesson is just about the D major. As you can see, I've put blue dots on the frets and underneath the strings where you need to put your fingers. And just look at that for a little moment. You might want to pause the video, have a look at that. That's pretty much where you need to actually stick your fingers. So you only play the bottom 4 strings normally. You can play the 5th string, which is an A, because we've already got an A in the chord, so it doesn't really matter. But if someone just says play a D chord, that's typically what you play. Okay, so starting with the fingers, standard fingering is fingers 1, 2, and 3. So take your first finger, put it on the 3rd string at the 2nd fret. Take your second finger, put it on the 1st string at the 2nd fret, and take your 3rd finger and put it on the 2nd string at the 3rd fret. Probably do it in that order, so 1, 2, 3. That's pretty much it. Now, when it comes to the thumb, you'll notice when I play, I use a couple of positions. The standard one for learning, as I've taught in other lessons, is to put the thumb joint in the middle of the back of the neck. And that'll give you enough push forward on your wrist to give good finger separation for when you're starting. Now, when you're a little bit more advanced and you want to change quickly, you might need more stability. So in that case, and you probably see me playing when I just grab the guitar, I'll just play like this, and my thumb's over the top. And that's useful for using your thumb to fret as well. But to start with, put your thumb, the joint of your thumb, in the middle of the back of the neck, and make sure that your fingers are perpendicular, coming straight out from the fretboard. This one here, the 3rd one, won't be exactly perpendicular, but it should be pretty close. If you drop your fingers down here, you're going to get this sort of thing. So the other thing is make sure that you're playing on the tips of your fingers. I always say that. Now look at the tips of my fingers. They've got some nice calluses on there, but you'll see that there are lines from the strings in the very tips of the fingers. If it hurts, don't worry, you'll get over that pretty quickly. Plenty of people play guitar, and not many people have fingers that bleed. So that's it. When it comes to the wrist, enough forward so that your fingers are perpendicular, but not too far forward so it's uncomfortable. You don't want to be like this. You should have a nice 90-degree bend pretty much at the 1st finger joint. Elbow, again, not too far out, not too close in, about 4 inches from the side of your body. And that's, I guess that'd be it for the basics. Now, if you are having any trouble with this, just make sure that your fingers are close to the frets. You want the fingers to be about 2/3 of the way along. Other than the fact that, for example, the 1st finger, it has to be a little bit further back to allow the 2nd finger to not rub up against the fret. So if you're getting any buzzing, that could be because your fingers are too far back in the fret. This kind of, that annoying buzzing, slide your finger forward and that'll generally go away. If you're getting muting, that's probably because your fingers are pushing, one of them might be pushing over the fret, that kind of style. So slide the whole position backwards and forwards to a point where you don't get any buzzing or muting. Okay. Now, there are a couple more things that you can do for practice. The first is to practice a different fingering technique using the 1st finger and the 2nd finger. And this will be useful later on, but it's also useful just to have a little bit of extra knowledge up your sleeve. So grab the 1st finger and just lay it across the first 3 strings like this. And then use the 2nd finger. You can use a 3rd as well if you want, but most people use the 2nd. And you can, in that way, you're actually fretting all 3 strings, and then use the 2nd finger on the 2nd string at the 3rd fret, like that. And that's useful if you're trying to do stuff where you don't want to have to, it's just a little bit quicker to move between positions further up the fretboard. So that's a useful one. The other one is to use your second, third and fourth fingers, second, third and fourth fingers, like this. That's kind of useful if you wanted to do a full D chord further up the fretboard later on. So those are the three positions that I'd try. But just watch that you've got the tips of your fingers are perpendicular to the fretboard, your thumb's in the right position, and your wrist is in the right position. There you go. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next lesson.